Rajeeb Dey from Enternships. Go ahead.
Very much. It's really great to be here and to follow the three fantastic speakers. I'll be touching upon a number of the issues they've raised in their presentations. So I'm really excited to be sharing with you the work that we're doing at Enternships and to rethink the recruitment process and develop more of a learning-based approach to recruitment, as we're calling it. So just tell you a bit about what we do as a company. We work with over 6,000 companies across Europe to help them find interns and graduates. A lot of these companies are startups and SMEs that don't have the brands of a Vodafone to go on campus and recruit bright people themselves, but we also work very closely with leading corporations to help them find entry-level talent. And in doing so, we've come across a number of big issues, which has led us to rethink the recruitment process. The first problem, which we've heard time and time again throughout this event, is that over 5 million young people are unemployed across Europe. But at the same time, people are struggling to find people for their jobs. So you've heard Solveig talk about the McKinsey report, where 27% of employers are leaving their jobs unfilled. And if we look at the UK context where I'm based, 150,000 entry-level jobs went unfilled last year. At the same time, the statistic has been quoted a number of times, 900,000 jobs are estimated to be unfilled by 2020 in the digital space, according to the European Commission. And if we look at how prepared young people are, again, the McKinsey report points at the fact that there's a massive disconnect between the expectations and the view of educationalists in terms of how prepared students are versus the graduates and versus the employers. So 74% of academics would say that their graduates are prepared, yet only 38% of graduates would agree, and only 35% of employers would agree with that fact. So the third problem is the fact that even those who do find work are not necessarily happy in the work that they're finding. So a recent report which came out a couple of months back was that 2/3 of graduates actually regret their choice of employer the day they start work. And 1 in 4 intend on leaving their employer within 12 months. And that is a significant attrition cost and points to the fact that the whole model, in my eyes at least, is broken. Right now, the recruitment process is a transaction. It's a transaction where one person wins and everyone else loses. So hundreds or thousands of people are applying for the same role. One person secures the job. Everyone else is left feeling a failure, feeling a reject. And don't forget that every single person that you are rejecting is either a current customer of yours, a future customer of yours, or a future experienced hire. So we thought to ourselves, how can we remodel this process? Because effectively, heads of recruitment are heads of rejection. Because what they're effectively doing is spending all their time finding reasons to say no. You don't fit this box, ticking these lists, and you don't fit the model. And so how can we rethink this process so that the more appropriate people apply for the jobs that they're suited for? This led us to the notion of creating this learning-based approach to recruitment. And there's a saying which I've stolen from the founder of 37 Signals in Silicon Valley, which says, out-teach your competition. He uses this in the context of content marketing and winning new business, but the same process and principle can be applied to recruitment. If you're struggling to fill your own jobs, you can do something about it. As employers, we're telling employers that you have access to learning and development content internally. You make this available right now to your employees on a day-to-day basis. So rather than look at recruitment in a silo and then learning and development in a silo after they've joined the business, what would happen if you brought an element of learning and development beforehand? Let people interact with your employer brand by learning from you. Let them really understand, what does compliance in this banking organization look like? What does a big data scientist actually do by accessing the learning content that you have available? So it's not a massive investment in terms of resources, because you have a lot of this material available. It requires a shift in mindset. Too many people are very proprietary about their content. They think it's very scary if they start putting their content out there. But actually, this is what Gen Y and the millennials expect. They expect this level of transparency and a level of openness. And actually, it makes it easier for them to understand if they're going to be appropriate for these roles. There are numerous benefits, such as ensuring that young people can pre-train themselves for the role, and so that if we can turn 50% of people off from applying, that's a great outcome, because the 50% of the people that do apply will be more suited to those roles and likely to stay longer in those particular opportunities. It also helps you as employers to reposition your employer brand in the eyes of candidates, because if you're a bank, you might just be known for banking, but you might not be known for cybersecurity or big data. We would say give us content and learning materials on those areas and let people find you by accessing that content. It also creates a more positive model where everybody wins, irrespective of securing a job with you or not. So whilst you might hire 100 people, you can leave 100,000 people better off having access to your learning content and to have skills to find work elsewhere, so they leave as a brand advocate of yours. So finally, I thought I'd leave you with one quote which I like from an educationist called Carl Fish, who says that we're currently preparing students for jobs that don't yet exist, using technologies that haven't yet been invented, in order to solve problems we don't even know are problems yet. And this really sums it up for me, because ultimately the only certainty is uncertainty. We cannot expect the education system to constantly prepare young people for the world of work, because the world of work is changing rapidly. And so I call upon the employers sitting in this room to do something about it and to invest in their future talent. Thank you very much.